superheroes have played the roles that human beings were incapable or perhaps unwilling to play. These superheroes have functioned as gods to their followers, and Superman, in particular, epitomizes the religious qualities of the superhero in his parallels to Jesus Christ. Superman was not only born to his parents, Joseph and Mary, but his christened name, Kal-El, is actually Hebrew for the voice of God. Superman is also the superhero credited with the popularization of comics. He fought many evils of the real world: lynch mobs, gangsters, and probably most famously, the KKK. Through his fight for justice, Superman always instilled the traditional American ideals and provided hope and renewal of faith. Kingdom Come explicitly exposes the undeniably religious nature of the Golden Age comics and portrays direct parallels of Superman and Jesus Christ in his second coming. Quotations from the Book of Revelation expose this comic genre as a mimicry of the religious text.
Our group is here to examine the use of Superman as a Christ figure and the correlation between Mark Waid and Alex Ross's comic book Kingdom Come and the Christian holy text, the Bible. We understand that the proposal of the idea of Superman as a Christ figure is problematic. We set out to demonstrate the correlations between Kingdom Come and its relationship to the biblical text, the revelation of St. John the Divine. We hope we have created a healthy dialogue and represented a variety of perspectives on our topic.
The Bible is hailed as the greatest story ever told, the book and the good book, while Kingdom Come is proclaimed as the greatest superhero epic of tomorrow. Subject matter aside, we are already dealing with an untouchable, institutionalized entity and a graphic novel that advertised itself as the greatest of its canon. To Christians, Jesus' second coming marks the moment when Jesus himself is returned to earth to save the world. His return will be marked by wonders in the heaven above the earth's blood and fire, billows of smoke. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and glorious day of the Lord, and anyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Acts chapter 2, verses 19 through 21. And those that do not follow Christian teaching theory believes that Revelations pertains to events which have already happened after Christ's death. During the period of the switch from BC to AD, the second coming had occurred. An account of the events that Nero and St. John were witnessing at the time. The idealist perspective believes that the chapter of Revelations is speaking in metaphors, and we may never know of its teachings, whether they have or have not occurred, as they would be presented differently. The destruction of Jerusalem, as foretold in Revelations, may not mean a total eradication of the country, but an earthquake or devastating fire. The idealist believes that more of a good versus evil, God versus Satan fight has occurred throughout time and is what Revelations tells of. The historist's view is an interpretation from your point in history from the beginning of the church. And finally, the futurist or pop culture Christian sees the events of the second coming as occurring at some point in the future. When is undeterminable according to the Bible, since no one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. Destruction will come on them as sudden as labor pains on a woman. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5.
Waid and Ross's graphic novel is split into 4 chapters, with each opening with quotes from the last chapter of the New Testament, the revelation of St. John the Divine. The quotes from the Bible act as a frame that instructs readers how to interpret the contents of the graphic novel by setting it in context with the book of Revelation. This frame is an obvious signifier of the graphic novel's Christian content and sets up Superman to be interpreted as a Christ figure. The book of Revelation details the apocalypse and the second coming of Jesus, while Kingdom Come tells of the return or second coming of Superman to help save humans and stop the destruction of Earth from the metahumans. It is important to note that although Superman is presented as a Christ figure, he differs significantly from Christ because Superman fights to save humans and the world so that things remain the way they were before evil influences took their toll. Christ, on the other hand, seeks the destruction of the present world so to create a new perfect world for only his believers, where God lives alongside men and women. The biblical quotes throughout the graphic novel foreshadow the action that will follow in the subsequent pages. first chapter, called Strange Visitor, features verses 5, 7, 10, and 13 from Revelation 8. There were voices and thunderings, and lightnings and an earthquake, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. There fell a great star from heaven, burning as if it were a lamp. And I beheld and heard an angel saying with a loud voice, "Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of earth." These quotes speak of massive destruction, pain, and death for non-believers brought about by a higher force. In Revelation 8, the voices, thunderings, and lightnings are incited by an angel hurling down onto earth a golden censer filled with fire. This signals the start of a heavenly assault on earth, and that God is about to reveal himself. Following the censer being cast onto the earth, 7 angels sound, which brings onto earth hail and fire mingled with blood. In chapter 1, the character Pastor Norman McKay receives visions from the spectre after touring the destruction faced by humanity, like St. John receives visions from an angel. As Norman walks through the city, he sees metahumans, descendants of great superheroes, causing pain and fire in the human world because they no longer fight for the right. They fight simply to fight. Their only foes each other. The metahumans fighting signals the destruction of human life, much like the angels signal destruction in Revelation 8. Also, the fighting metahumans force Superman to reveal himself to the world again after seeking exile in the American Midwest. The opening of the second chapter, entitled Truth and Justice, features verses 2, 3, 5, and 6 from Revelation 8. And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and the angel took the censer and filled it with the fire of the altar. And the 7 angels prepared themselves to sound. These verses focus on the angels and their preparations to trumpet judgments onto those that reject God. This chapter features Superman and 6 other superheroes: Wonder Woman, the Ray, Hawkman, Power Woman, the Flash, and the Green Lantern, passing judgments of a sort on the metahumans who are willing to kill innocent bystanders in a fight against Americommando, Brain Trust, and the Minutemen. The group of superheroes, led by Superman, use their powers to sweep their foes aside like 10 pins. They are, in a sense, sweeping away those who reject Superman's just and moral way of life. Also, I believe the verse, "The 7 angels prepared themselves to sound," is referenced by Superman, flanked by his 6 followers, pronouncing at the UN intentions to teach the metahumans the meaning of truth and justice and to restore order.